Hi, everyone, and welcome to the new episode of Blood, Sweat, and Beers. So, this is our third episode, and here we are joined by Rahul Saha and Ali Kazi, as usual, your two experts for the FPL and everything related to football. Today, on a very special demand, we have Rahul Naresh with us, and the special demand has been made by Rahul Saha because उसको बहुत left out feel हो रहा था कि यहाँ पे तीनों मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड के fans हैं. So I don't know why you were feeling left out, Rahul. You had the perfect opportunity to, take our case, boast, throw tantrums or whatever. You could have just taken our case alone also, but ठीक है, तुम्हें एक partner चाहिए था. So we have Rahul Naresh, who's a lawyer by the day and a avid Arsenal follower by the night. He's a gooner like our Rahul Saha. Welcome, Rahul. Welcome to our podcast.
Thanks, Shweta.
So, guys, the first week is gone, and I'm really sorry if I don't sound that excited or if my energy is low. It's not because I'm sick or I'm tired or anything like that. It's just that what happened over the weekend, I still am not being able to get over it as a Manchester United fan. And I think only Ali here can relate with me. So please pardon me if I sound a little grumpy today, but I can't help it. It's been years and now it's getting to me.
Actually, I'm used to
I
it.
gave you guys a
It's
fair
normal.
warning though.
Yeah, but the hopes don't warn us, na?
Yeah, indeed. That's the thing. Like I told you to keep your hopes grounded because
See, Vijay,
the thing with Ten Hag is that like what he has undertaken with his Manchester United team, I see that the same process of the first year of a Klopp at Liverpool or the first year of a Mikel Arteta at Arsenal. So based on those things, you have to keep your hopes grounded because Klopp also finished eighth in his first season and Arteta also finished eighth. So I'm not saying that Manu will finish eighth, but yeah, expecting to to expect them to reach greater heights or to challenge for the top four places as of now is a bit far fetched.
Well, I agree with you, Rahul. But the thing is, I know this is just going off the topic right at the beginning, but we'll just get the elephant off the room just so that you gooners don't have an opportunity to take mine and Ali's case. But the thing is that, it's the same mistake that keeps happening every season. And when you see it happening right in the first match, then you think of things like, obviously it's a new era, new things are happening. The preseason went perfectly well. There was a new energy, and you felt the squad is united and everything is going fine, but since then, the things have just started going downhill when you see it's the same midfield combination. You don't have options in the squad. You don't know what's happening in the boardroom, why signings are not happening, why they're suddenly going for panic signings. The club is actually at a point of revolt right now. So it is not good times for United. But let's see, like you said last year, I remember Arsenal started off with three consecutive defeats, and how they ended the season, we all know about that. And even Klopp, he took over mid-season. He guided them to the eighth place. From next season, he started with the Champions League. It took him some time to get them to the finals and to be fighting for the league with a manager like Guardiola. So yeah, we're all hoping for we will see. We'll see how the season evolves. And 31st August is a very crucial date for most of us. But anyway, let's move to the main topic of our discussion today, which is the FPL. Guys, we are done with the first week of FPL. Quickly, how about we quickly just speak about our scores? Rahul, how much did you score in the first week?
Yeah, so I got 67 points, although like I feel a bit let down by one or two assets, but still I'm happy with it. Like I'm not lagging behind the pack as of now. And if you're someone who likes green arrows all the time, like game week one is the best time to get a low score because you're gonna
Yeah,
get a ton load of green arrows.
that's true. That's true. Ali, how about you? What was your score?
I got completely battered and thrashed in this week's FPL. I got 34. None, apart from Martinelli, none of my players did anything to be precise. Son got an assist, I think. That's
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, he did.
Well, Ali, like जब मैंने तुम्हें शुरू
The
में ही
my,
बोला था
my,
कि
my
हम
FPL week went the way United's week
सेम
went
ब्रदर,
on field.
एब्सोल्युटली सेम, हम दोनों सेम बोट में हैं, जो मैंने पिछली
Actually,
बार भी
Allah.
तुम्हें बोला था। इसमें भी मैं तुम्हारे साथ एकदम साथ हूँ। मैं 33 पॉइंट्स पे हूँ एंड आई स्टैंड इन सॉलिडारिटी विद यू। मेरे
Thanks.
किसी प्लेयर ने कुछ भी नहीं किया। None of my players did anything. I
You
don't know how
you
I
had
reached
what Prowse,
33.
right?
Sorry?
You had what Prowse, right?
Oh yeah, he's the reason I'm at 33 right now. Otherwise,
Yeah, he got
I
nine
don't know.
points, right?
He gave me nine
Yeah.
points. So this is 1 week. Like Rahul, I love you for this. You're so optimistic. You keep giving me optimism. तुमने जो अभी मुझे optimism दिया है कि अगले हफ्ते मुझे green arrow नजर आएगा. Now that's what I'm looking at. Rahul Naresh, what was your score?
I scored 47. It
Wow.
was it was a decent week. I mean, it wasn't great, honestly. Same issues. I think for me, my midfield didn't fire at all. I'm hoping that changes. But yeah, apart from that, a decent week. I was hoping a little bit more from Jesus. But yeah, I mean, I think it'll come. It'll come with time, for sure.
Same actually. I was also expecting things from Jesus. He was my striker also. But there's always the next week, the next game week. So, guys, what are your observations from this week, from this week's FPL, which you might want to take forward? That is something I'll come to later. But just your general observations of the trend and whatever happened. Rahul, what do you think?
Southampton are absolutely trash, just like I told you in the preview. Like their backline is absolutely awful. Like Spurs could have scored six, seven, eight. Like like that's how bad they are. Like the goal that they got, that was truly an individual piece, like the piece of individual brilliance by James Watford. Like what a volley that was. Other than that, like they didn't do anything. In fact, like I would go as far as to say that like they helped Spurs to get those four goals and those ton load of chances, because like they were more than Spurs breaking them down, they were imploding themselves time again, and mostly in their own half. Apart from that, I think like although Wolves looked really good defensively in the preseason against Leeds with the back four, they looked very open. So that's a point of concern if you're backing any Wolves defenders. While yeah, Leeds do look very interesting to me. Jack Harrison, he created he made seven key passes in game week one. That's the most by any player. The second to him is only James Madison. However, we all know Madison mostly gets his key passes or big chances created from your set piece deliveries, whereas Harrison produced his key passes and big chances from open play. So that's a big thing there, and one player to keep an eye on. And Fulham look good. Like Yao Paulinho like dominated that midfield. I don't know like what Klopp was thinking, going with the midfield of Thiago and like including both Thiago and Henderson, and eventually Thiago broke down, as we all know.
Hmm.
And apart from that, yeah, Match City looked really solid. Like they didn't even break a sweat against West Ham, and Arsenal looked really impressive. So that's my
Ali, I have a
key takeaways. Yeah.
Ali, I have a question for you. After seeing the first game week of FPL, what do you think? Which is the team which should be who on whose players the focus should be on for the next FPL game week? If even if it's a mix and match, it could be a couple of teams, three teams. What are you thinking?
No, I think first of all you should look to get City players. They have a game against Bournemouth, and I think they will dominate them. They'll get scores as always they do. Then Liverpool, this time around, I don't think Liverpool can get too many goals or give too many points because Crystal Palace looked pretty rigid against Arsenal. So, but again, Salah, yeah, as always, he has been consistent. He delivered again. Even if he's not in form, he doesn't look like playing properly. He gets goals. So Liverpool, we can have Salah. Obviously, everyone has. Most of them has City and Tottenham again. Tottenham, I think Son, Kulusevski, or Kane. These three players will get to give you points. Then again, Leicester are pretty open. I have four teams, so Leicester are going to concede. So Arsenal have a lot of chances to deliver this time around. Top two would be Man City, Arsenal for this week. That's it.
Okay, like just to add one more thing, like just since Ali has brought up Spurs, so like apart from the front three, I think people should really keep a close eye on their wing backs. Like
Yeah, yeah,
they are really advanced, more than
yeah.
the
Even
Man City or Liverpool full wingbacks or fullbacks, you can say. Because what I saw, like when Kane had the ball in the middle of the pitch, like when he was dropping deep to link those plays. So what happened is, apart from Son and Kulusevski, both their wingbacks were also making darting runs
yeah,
inside
they
the
were.
box. So like there is a huge goal threat there. So
Yeah, even
that's the
when
one
Perisic
key
came
area
in,
you have to keep a close eye on.
they were too high. He was always near the edge of the box.
Then I'm just counting on him to be fully fit by game week 3, just so that I can have him in my
Yeah,
team.
same here, same here.
Like
I'm
that's
gonna
that's
have him.
always been the plan.
Guys, I'm
Surely.
so sorry. I just lost my connection in between. I'm so sorry for that. But yeah, getting back to the conversation, Rahul, Naresh, what are your views? Because this is the first time we have you on our FPL podcast. What have your general views been on the week gone by and what you see happening in the future?
For me personally, in terms of Manchester City players, I'd probably want to wait a couple of weeks more because you never know what Pep is going to do with his team. I want to see if he's playing a particular player consistently. It's probably going to be Haaland. That player is probably going to be him. But um, with regards to the wingers, especially somebody like Mahrez or Grealish, I think I'd wait and see if he's actually playing them consistently and then bring them in. So for me personally, at this moment in time, I don't really have many City players in my team. But apart from that, I really like the option of playing fullbacks of teams that play with a back five. Chelsea, for example, you'd want somebody like Reece James in your team who's going to be advanced. Same for Spurs. You'd want to have a fullback who's going to be playing consistently. Yeah, they played Sessegnon, but yeah, I'd want to see if who their fullbacks will be and how consistent they'll be. Their wingbacks, basically. Yeah, so that my key takeaways, at least from the first week, just in general. Yeah.
All right. My key takeaway from this week has been that whenever you make your FPL team, you should not keep it personal. You should be very professional about it. You should forget your
Absolutely.
identities, your support. You should not bank on it. You should be completely unemotional about it. You should be completely cruel about it, and go about it very professionally, guys. Forget who you're supporting, especially if it's Manchester United. Don't keep Manchester United players in your team as of now. Like Rahul Naresh said, for City, he'll be waiting. I'll be waiting for United for at least the next 4 to 5 game weeks to see what they're doing. After which, I'll decide if I want to get my favorite players of my favorite team back.
I
But
think you got
yeah,
too
that's my
emotional.
takeaway. Sorry,
You got too emotional.
Rahul. When you've been supporting, sorry, Ali, when you've been supporting a club for the past 17 years,
Yeah, I can
and when you've
understand.
seen the glory days, you tend to get very emotional about it. But anyway, so guys, last week we did share our teams. I shared my team. Rahul Saha shared his team. Ali shared his team. We still haven't seen Rahul's team, the team which scored 47 points this week. Let's have Rahul Naresh's team up so that we can discuss about what his choices were and if he's going to make any changes this coming week and why. So as we wait for the team to come up, Rahul, what has your experience been for the past? Okay, so yeah, Rahul's team is here. We can go ahead with that. So Rahul, can you just explain your team here? Can you just mention your team and then explain your the reason behind your choices?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Like I said, one of my biggest options, or one of probably the best options I had was Reece James in terms of a back four. I'll start with my back four. I back five. Sorry, I have Reece James in there. I have Trent in there. I have Luca Dean in there, Tarek Lamptey, and John Stones. Um, Biggest loss for me this week was the fact that Stones didn't play. Um, he obviously Pep preferred Ake, a left-footed centre back. I mean, makes a lot of sense to me. It's something I was scared about initially, but it was a gamble anyways. Apart from that, I was pretty happy with my. I'm pretty happy with my defenders. I think I'll stick with them. I'll stick with Trent. I'll stick with Reese. I'll stick with Luca Dean. I want to see how Villa go about um, their season. I generally prefer fullbacks because of the fact that they generally do get a few more assists and yeah, leading to more points rather than centre backs. You're probably expecting them to score goals apart from the clean sheets. Yeah, Tarek Lamptey, another loss for me, so something that I'd consider changing. So for the coming week, this is where my change is. I brought in Gabriel for John Stones. Shweta, you spoke about how you have to leave your emotions aside, but for me, it's really tough. It's really hard. So I'd like to have as many Arsenal players in the team when they're doing well, especially. But yeah, but apart from that, the midfield seems fine. I'll give it some time. Same for the strikers. Tony got me a few points this week, thanks to again, like thanks to that goal. But yeah, I mean, it just needs time. I think we'll have to wait for a couple more weeks before we really get into the meat of things.
All right, just for the sake of our listeners, can you just mention your midfield and your forward line again?
Yeah, sure. So my forward line is comprises of Ivan Tony. I've got Ollie Watkins in there, and I've got Gabriel Jesus. Um, Gabriel Jesus, obviously, I've got him in uh, good preseason, coming in with a lot of expectations, hoping to score goals, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Ivan Tony, because reasonable price, scored a few goals last season. I know I was a little skeptical about this one because I have a feeling Brentford wouldn't do well this season, but you know what? I stuck with him, and yeah, I've got Ivan Tony in there, and finally Ollie Watkins. Um, Another thing that I'd like to see is whether Watkins does start in the coming game weeks. He didn't start this week, but yeah, again, I something that I'll wait on and see. In terms of my midfield, I've got James Madison, great from set pieces. Rahul Saha mentioned it. Is probably going to score decent number of points this season. So my differential in this team is Martin Odegaard. Martin Odegaard again. I'd like to see him shoot. I'd like to see him shoot a lot more. I felt like he had a couple of chances in the Palace game. He didn't shoot. He looked for the pass. Oh, just this. I get these Ozil vibes. I just shoot when you have the chance, man. But yeah, I still stick with him. Salah, obviously, he's one of my main guys. Should have captained him. Lost out on that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
apart from
been like the most consistent player of the last 5 seasons, I think.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Should have
Yeah.
captained him, but gut said Jesus, so I went with that.
Well, yeah,
Coutinho,
it has to be a mixture of gut and pure
yeah, yeah,
intelligence. So
yeah,
I think there's always a next game week coming. You still have the let's see who you make the captain this week. And
yeah.
Rahul Saha, what's your take? How like what are the changes you are planning to make from your previous team? Are you going to keep it the same? What are the changes? I'm really interested to hear this. Did we have Saha's team
Have
up?
any changes?
So
So far, we
Rahul
lost.
Saha, I'll
Yeah,
just I'll just
asking
make
for
it
them.
clear once. Rahul Saha had Ramsdale, Alexander Arnold, Robertson, Cancelo, Digne, Salah, Bailey, Martinelli, Neto as his midfield, and Haaland and Jesus as his forward line. Yes, Rahul. What do you have to say for the game week 2?
Yeah, so I will be pretty much going with the same team. Like you have like we spent nearly a month or a month and a half on this, like planning every play, like planning all the fixtures and all those things. So like I'm sticking with it. I'm not making any changes to my team. Although like Digne and Bailey flopped massively. However, uh, just to give a reflection on their performance. I think it was more down to Steven Gerrard's poor match management rather than they flopping on the game because you see it happened. Like this is what I was alluding to in the preseason show as well because their backline are not technical. However, in the forward line, they have technical players. So there is an evident disjoint, and the more I see as Steven Gerrard's team, the more it reminds me of Unai Emery and his second year at Arsenal. They are like in this respect, they are the same. Like they have no clue what sort of team they want to build. So yeah, this is one thing. So more like although I'm sticking with the same team, for game week 3, I might drop both of them, and then this is why I'm rolling my transfer and keeping both two free transfers and not take a hit. So yeah,
All
basically
right.
that's it. And I think Haaland will be my captain. So this is a you can't look past him for game week 2.
All right. That's quite interesting, Rahul. Let's see how it works for you. Is if it's going to be a second week more lucky thing, or if it's going to be a second week disaster like some second season disasters. I hope it's the former for you, and you have a good week. Ali, now this is something I'm really interested in because this is my brother who had the maximum United players in his team. So, Ali, what's your take now?
Probably first of all, I got deceived by the preseason, the way they played. So I picked the three players from United, and I'm gonna keep them for sure. I expect a good reaction against Brentford.
Hmm.
So my team, I'll make one change. I'll remove Kane for Haaland for one game week. Just I feel after looking at the first game, the way City played, I think Haaland is gonna get few more goals. So I'm gonna just make one change. I was really disappointed to have Dinya in my team, so I might probably change him afterwards. But for now, I'm keeping him in the team. And again, Jesus disappointed me in the game week 1. He didn't get goals. He would have. He played, although played very well, but he did not get goals. So that's all. So we can look at my team right now.
But before you guys move ahead, I just want to ask you guys one question. All three of you, and including me, we spoke about how we are going to wait for some game weeks more for certain things. Like I said that I want to wait for the next 3-4 weeks to see how United players are doing. Rahul Naresh said something about how he wants to see what is happening with the City teams before he gets more City players in. Why isn't anyone saying this about Haaland? What is it about him scoring two goals out of which one is a penalty, and people are suddenly including him? Why
Right.
don't people think? Why don't people want to see that? Let's just see what happens with Haaland for the next 4-5 weeks, and then we decide what is happening. Is it
Actually,
only because of
actually,
the
I said
fixtures?
no. Actually, I said this in the first podcast. I think I will look at Haaland the way he pans out. So for now, it was my gut feeling to have Haaland for this game only. So I'm not
Okay,
sure if I'll
okay,
be having him for the next few games. But let's see.
okay.
And again, yeah, it is because of the first six fixtures which City have. They are pretty much easy, and they might get all full points. So that's why. But I am gonna look at Haaland if he's consistent in there.
Okay.
I have feeling
Rahul,
so.
Naresh, what about you? Why are you also going to wait for Haaland, or is he? Do you think people, and I'm not just talking about you here, do you think most of our listeners who are part of our league, Blood, Sweat, and Beer also, these guys are going to go for Haaland now like all of a sudden, Haaland is going to be like one player who everyone wants to have in their team.
I mean, I still think that you should be waiting on Haaland. You just don't know, right? Like it's a toss up between, for me, it's a toss up between Nunez and Haaland. Nunez didn't start. Hopefully, he will next in the coming week. He's got what he scored as well. Nunez is not on penalties. That's the only thing that's putting him off. Haaland, I mean, of course, that's the added benefit. You have somebody on penalties. You know he's most likely to score a penalty if he gets one. That's the only thing I feel like is something that's in favor of Haaland if you're going to go for him. But I'd still say wait a couple more weeks and see how it goes. The Another thing that he has going for him is De Bruyne behind him, and if he's going to play passes like that, like the one he did for the second Haaland goal, yeah, you're going to score points. I mean, he's got a world class midfielder behind him.
That's true.
Yeah.
Rahul, let me
Rahul,
just ask you
Sahal,
one.
what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll just like to ask one question to Rahul. Like, why not go with both? Why not have Haaland and Nunes both in your squad?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
why it has to be either of them?
so personally, for me, it's because I'd want Jesus in my team, and I can't have Jesus, Nunez, and Haaland. Simply because I think Jesus is going to be the guy who's going to score goals for Arsenal. I don't really see a lot of goals coming from Martinelli, although he did score in the first game. I see a lot of goals coming from Saka, from Jesus. Yeah, that's why I want Jesus over. I mean, I can't have all three of them, so I'm going to pick. either Haaland or Nunez and have Jesus on my squad.
Yeah, just to be responsible, like at the end of the day, like at one point you have to break the meta. Like the as of now, the meta is going like a 5-3-2 or a 5-4-1 or a 4-4-2. But as we, as 5-6-7, as 5-6-7-8 game weeks go, or either after the first game week, after the first international break, when there are like two or three teams have big picture swings, like that, I think that is the time you can change, break the meta and go for a forward line of, let's say, Haaland, Kane, and Nunez, or go with the front three or playing front three, I believe. Or you can even go back that, because you see, Darwin Nunez only played 30 minutes against Fulham. However, in those 30 minutes, he had an XG of 0.69, which is the third highest this game week. And he produced that in only 30 minutes. Moreover, when he came on the field, Salah became lively, Trent became lively, Robbo became lively, and the only like drawback for Liverpool was that Díaz became isolated. So this is the main. If Darwin Núñez starts in game week 2 for me against Crystal Palace, I'll be watching these five assets keenly. And for me, I think those, and in the fixture against Fulham, Núñez and Luis Diaz were in the pitch for, I think, 20 minutes together, and in those 20 minutes, Diaz was, not getting involved in the final third, not making those darting runs, and those getting into dangerous positions. So yeah, that's a key spot to look at, because I think that Darwin is a good shot for the third Liverpool spot.
Absolutely, I
Rahul, I think,
completely agree.
yeah. No,
Which is
absolutely,
exactly.
Rahul. I'm actually, I'm sorry, Rahul. Please, Rahul, Naresh, please go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing. I absolutely think Nunez is a great option to have. It's over Haaland maybe. Like in the coming weeks, you just let's wait for a few weeks. Let's hope. Let's see Nunez start. Let's give him 90 minutes with Diaz and Salah, and then decide. Like Rahul said, you could probably have both of them if you fancy it.
And no, Rahul, actually, I mean, this is a very interesting take of what you just said. Ek to, like just imagining this forward line of, Haaland or Nunez, or even Haaland, Nunez, and Kane to have that. It's almost like a Guardiola dream team. And so this is actually something, this is gets me to this point where I feel that, as FPL, when we create an FPL team, there is this tendency of there's this like we start thinking like managers, right? There's a certain, and do you think, Rahul, that plays a part in the kind of team that you choose? That obviously all of us have favorite managers. Someone loves Ferguson, someone loves Klopp, someone loves Guardiola, someone loves Arteta, whatever it is. तो तुम लोगों को क्या लगता है कि मतलब अभी जैसे हम लोग जब टीम बना रहे हैं, तो उसमें भी हमारे फेवरेट मैनेजर्स हमें किसी तरीके से इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं? डू यू गाइस एक्चुअली think like managers when you're making your team, or what?
Like, it certainly plays a part, like, and more important, like, it will play a huge role, I think, after game week 5, because like from game week 5, midweek game starts, and from game week 5 to game week 16, every top 6, or every top 7 team, then every team that finished top 7 last year, like, they will all have a midweek game. So if
Hmm.
you look at that, like, there will be rotation. This is why I was like, from the start, I wanted to have Haaland, because I know at least for the first 5 to 6 game weeks, Haaland will be a certain starter for Man City. However, from there on, like, this is why I was like telling you guys, like, the first international break is a great time to use a wild card, just because by that time, all these clubs will at least play 2 or 3 European games. So this gives you a great insight into how the managers are looking to use their players, and in turn how you can use these assets. So
Hmm.
this is how you have to do. Like the basic like another example I can give you is that, like, last year people were not backing Doherty or Emerson Royal and these wing backs, because Conte didn't have the other pieces in place to get the full uh, output, to get the maximum output from them. However, this season he has all those tools at his disposal, and we are now seeing how attacking and how offensive their fullbacks are. And just because of that, we are at targeting their fullback, mainly Perisic or Sessegnon or the Matt. Doherty on the right wing. So yes, the managers, how the managers like to set up their team, how they play their game, that massively plays a part in this.
No, but like Ali, you tell me something कि जैसे you we are also football enthusiasts, right? We love watching this game of football. तो वो वाली चीज़ है जैसे I'm sure that some of us like the Mourinho way of playing football, some of us like the Guardiola way, some love the Klopp way of playing football. और तो वो चीज़ अली तुम जब अपनी टीम बनाते हो, क्या उस चीज़ को वो इन्फ्लुएंस करते हैं कि आई वांट टू गो विद अ 5-3-2 फॉर्मेशन, आई वांट टू गो विद अ 3-5-2, 3-4-3 ऐसा फॉर्मेशन के साथ ही मैं जाना चाहता हूँ, या इट इज कंप्लीटली अबाउट व्हाट रिजल्ट्स यू आर गोइंग टू गेट?
Yeah, I don't. For me, I don't think I have to go in a particular formation to set up my team every time around. So first of all, the main priority is to set up the team which we think, or I think, which asset can give me the most points among
Okay,
inside my budget. So whatever pans out from within that set of players comes into the playing 11. So personally, I never think I'm going in a particular way. For,
okay,
for this time, actually, we have fullbacks for pretty low prices. That's why I'm going with four fullbacks. I think I will keep on going with four fullbacks for every other game week. So that's again because of the tendency of fullbacks giving more points, not because I love some a back four or anything.
okay, all right. Rahul, tell me something, Rahul Naresh. Now that we move to the next week now, is there something that you would want to suggest to our listeners when they're choosing their team or making some teams? Obviously, we've spoken quite a lot about waiting and watching, but any other trend you see, any other particular trend that you feel that it could be the trend for this season and people should be looking out for this? Anything?
I think as the podcast has gone on, I've realized a couple of things. I really think this could be a season for the strikers. In like Rahul mentioned, I'm just thinking about this. I'm thinking you have like at least 4 or 5 strikers who will bang in goals, in my opinion. You have Nunez, you have Haaland, you have Jesus, who's probably likely to score a few. Patrick Bamford's back for Leeds this season. Something another player you'd watch and you'd look at because they created a few chances, Leeds, and yeah, you'd love to have one Leeds player in your team for sure. That's something that I'd probably say you can consider. Have a Leeds player in your team, somebody in the forward line. Harrison maybe, but yeah, I'd still say yeah. Let's see if Rodrigo starts a couple more games, but yeah, otherwise Bamford is the obvious option.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Rahul,
all.
yeah. Okay. So Rahul sir, one question I wanted to ask you specifically because in our last podcast we were talking a lot about dark horses, and there we were talking about teams. कि which team could be a dark horse for this season. After the game week one, I want to ask you one thing: who can be the dark horse of FPL this season? So a person who might not have been a popular choice or in any of our teams as well, but one player who could really be a dark horse for this season.
Yeah, look, so just like the season preview, my answer is same, Newcastle United. However, you have to, take a seat and watch their games from game week 2 to game week 5 because they have really tough fixtures there. And this is what I believe that from game week 6 onwards, Newcastle assets will play a huge role in our teams. Like let's say for
Anyone,
example,
any specific name in your mind?
yeah, I have a few. Like in terms of strikers, Callum Wilson will literally like he will shoot goals. Like if he's fit,
Mm,
he's that good. And in an Eddie Howe system, he will really produce goal. Like it was evident in the first game also. Like Newcastle had the best XG for goals scored and also had the least XG for goals conceded against
mm,
Nottingham Forest. However, but you can't take that into consideration because like Forest have also bought in a lot of players like 10 or 11 players, so they will take some time to gel in, but still. So Newcastle is really one team you can you keep an eye on and have their assets. So after Callum Wilson, Bruno Guimaraes playing that number 8 role is a decent shout. I think at 5.5, and also and you And Kieran Trippier, if you are going for a Newcastle defender, Kieran Trippier is a must because he's on every set piece duty. He's defensively sound. So if Newcastle, either win or keep a clean sheet, more often than not, Trippier will get you bonus points. He's a bonus point magnet. So these are three players that you must consider from Newcastle United.
Great, great, Rahul. I think that's really insightful of you, and I hope that our listeners are going to take note of this, and it could help them in the coming game weeks. Ali, तुम्हारे लिए मेरे पास एक सवाल है जो शायद वो हमारे करंट सिचुएशन के साथ भी थोड़ा जाए. डार्क हॉर्स का उल्टा मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ तुमसे कि someone who should have been a favorite for the FPL, but we should genuinely avoid him. Please don't say Sancho. It's just going to hurt me more. But any
No,
other person. Yeah.
he's not gonna disappoint me. I'm pretty sure about him.
Mm.
I think that's very very tough question for me. I think
I
people
have
people are
one in my
still yeah.
I have one in my mind.
Okay,
Same.
let
Okay,
let
but let's
Raheem
let
let's
Sterling.
let's first let's
Yeah,
let's first hear Ali first. Let's not
yeah,
let's have him think a little.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think again people are again going with Bruno a lot. I've seen lots of my friends going with Bruno, and I kind of don't see him getting those points what he did in a season before last season. So I think we should avoid Bruno. He's at 10. We can get better options for a cheaper money. Someone like Kulisevsky, and for me, dark horse is also Kulisevsky. I think no one talks about him, but he has been one of the most points giving player since he came in the Premier League. I'm avoiding Bruno myself, even though I love to have him, but yes, I think we should avoid Bruno. And there may be a time when he doesn't get featured in the team properly if he form dips because Manchester United now have Van de Beek and Eriksen who can play at that number 10 role.
Yeah.
So
Well, let's
yeah,
see.
I
Let's see
think
what happens before 31st August. I think Rahul Naresh agreed with you when you said Bruno Fernandes. His head nod told me that this was the choice which he had in his mind also.
that
Yeah,
had not what was filled with rejoice.
absolutely. It was Bruno for me because I've seen a couple of my friends. We did the draft as well, and I think he went in the first round, and I was like, no, come on, like how are you picking Bruno Fernandes over Haaland? This is nuts. I mean, yeah, I mean, I just want to see how this United team goes. Honestly, Ten Hag's first season, obviously, there's a lot of things that he has to change, and it'll take time. And
I think,
yeah,
yeah, I think, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. That was a deliberate cutting you off because it's a painful topic, and maybe we'll speak. But just joking, we'll speak more about it in our next podcast when we review the coming game week. As all of you know, as all our listeners know, that we have a league running of the FPL, which is also called Blood, Sweat, and Beers. So let's see how our league members have performed this week. If we can have the league standings up, and we'll see who our top scorer this week has been. So this is our league for this week, and Red Square FC Anton Chernov has scored 101 points. That is quite frankly amazing, and he's even 8 points
Without any
clearer to
chips,
our. Sorry.
without any chips. That's what makes it more impressive.
Oh, absolutely. And then Heartbeats FC is 8 points behind him. So this is really good. Congratulations, Anton Chernov, on winning this week's game week of the Blood, Sweat, and Beer podcast. If we can just see his team, we would really be interested to see his team and what team he chose for this game week. So, guys, Anton Chernov had Ramsdale as his keeper, who gave him 6 points, Alexander Arnold, who gave him 1 point, Ruben Diaz, who gave him 6 points, Zinchenko gave him 12, Trippier. Oh, Rahul, this guy agreed with you and listened to you even before you mentioned it. He's gone with Trippier, who gave him 7 points. Ben Chilwell gave him 9 points. And more interestingly, Anton Chernov went ahead with a 5-4-1. Salah was his captain, Rahul Naresh. You wanted that to happen. He went ahead with it. He made Salah his captain. He scored 24 points. Neto gave him 2. Kulusevski. Ali, I think people have been listening to our podcast, guys. They are agreeing with your opinion even before you're saying it. Our top scorer has listened to Rahul Naresh, Rahul Saha, and Ali. All three of you. Kulusevski is also there in his team. He scored 13 points. Martinelli is there. He scored 8 points. And Haaland, obviously, the vice captain, has scored 13 points. Amazing, Anton. Many
Look at his
congratulations to
bench.
you.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah, oh yeah,
Mitrovic on his
sorry, I forgot
bench.
his bench. Oh, Ward-Prowse, Mitrovic. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. This
Yeah, this
is
is
an
what I was
amazing team this
referring
guy's
to.
with. Yeah. Oh, he could have put any of them and he would have maybe Neto and Ward-Prowse could have made more difference. But I think he's gone ahead with brilliant choices. What do you guys think? He's had a fabulous game week.
Yeah, he has a
Yeah.
game week, but this is not sustainable in the long run, right? Like you
Yes.
have to
Yes.
make some changes. Like I like as for example, like I think Kulusevski there is a big outlier in my opinion. Like he scored a beautiful goal and put in a great assist for Sessegnon, but still like he was not very much involved inside the box. So like although he has scored 13 points, that this is not sustainable. Like at least for the course of for the next 5 or 6 games. Neto is the same thing here. Martinelli, we don't know. Like so, there is not a lot of room, not to maneuver with this squad. Like just because like Mitrovic scored a brains against Liverpool, like he's not go on and score against every other team, right? So like this is how it this is not how it works. So yeah, he had an excellent game week, but yeah, yeah, like he will have to
Well,
make
I hope
quite a few
Anton is
changes
listening
by
then.
game
Ali
week three.
Rahul,
Yeah.
any quick yeah, we'll be watching. We'll be watching what he does, what happens with him in
Yeah,
the
I would
game
like to
week.
one more thing. Like Chilwell is a
Yeah.
doubt for game week two. Like just because like they have Kukurea now, so he's not assured that he will start the game or get minutes.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
so yeah, that's a doubt for me. And yeah,
yeah.
the rest I have explained to you. So yeah, that's the matter.
Ali and
And
Rahul, any
Newcastle
quick?
also out of fixture. Yeah, bro, sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So Ali and Rahul, any quick views on Anton's team before we all move on to the game week two?
No, if he's moving on, then he should remove Trippier for now because of the fixtures, as Rahul mentioned, Newcastle have, and then Chilwell. I don't see him. We can't. Anyone can't be assured that he's gonna play consistently just because of the of Cucurella's presence in the team. So he might go for James for a more sustainable option, and Neto again. Wolves will be struggling this time around. So I think these three choices he should avoid.
And Mr. Naresh, what do you think?
I think just overall,
Sorry, I disagree with that with the Wolves part. Like Wolves recorded the second highest XG last game week. Like they would they can like they can suffer defensively, but in the attacking front they are firing on the guns. Like they had
Uh,
the second highest XG.
Yeah, but as season prolongs, as season goes on, I can't I don't believe they are going to be that good as
Ali,
they are supposed to
I
be.
think in the
budget
I think
enablers.
guys I
Yeah.
think
For
in the
that,
next coming weeks we'll be more sure about what is going to happen. The league is
yes,
still in the
it takes 4 or 5 weeks.
stage. So, but thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. You guys have been as insightful as always, and I hope that our listeners, you guys have been a help to our listeners. Also, just one more thing for all of you who are listening to us, this league that we have started, the Blood, Sweat, and Beers podcast. We would like to get the people who are there in the league on our podcast. If you want to do that, you can reach out to us. Our information is there in the description box. Please follow us on all social medias. There's our email ID also. If you want to directly reach out, you can. We'll have our phone numbers up. You can call us. We would want to get in touch with our league leaders, especially people with the most improvement from the previous week to this week. These are some of the things we'll be working on as the season progresses. So please feel free to reach out to us. Be there, be a part of our podcast. We want to get your views. We want to have this discussion going for the football fraternity, and we just love to have you on our podcast. So please reach out to us. And guys, follow Sports Khabri. Follow Sports Khabri on all the social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything. And please be part of a league. It's all there in the description. You have Rahul, you have Ali, you have Rahul again, both the Gunners there to help you as the year passes. And you'll have all the questions. If you have questions, you can reach out to us. You can write in your questions also, and we'll have the answers for you as well as we could. Thank you so much, Rahul. Thank you, Ali. Thank you, Mr. Naresh, for joining us. And it's been wonderful talking to the three of you. Hope to see you next week, and hope to see our listeners next week too.